3, 2, 1, liftoff.
Cannabinoid Connect, the nation's most diverse cannabis-related podcast.
We are recording.
Did you want me to stream this on Twitter for you?
Yeah, let's do it. I don't care.
All right. Okay, cool. I'll stream to all my my stuff that you sound like such a nerd. I'll stream it on my platform too.
You've got a pretty badass setup, I must say. I mean,
dude, I love it.
Software to stream. I'm just kind of learning all that kind of background stuff, man. I've just kind of been.
Once you get the hang of it, it's cake, dude. Look, I'm a dumb grunt. If I could figure this stuff out, just get some people. If you need some help, I don't mind help. I'm not an expert, but I can tell you the programs and stuff you need to go to give you and you have good audio. I hear you loud and clear. It's a professional mic. And outside of that, dude, it's figuring it out as you go.
No, I appreciate that, man. I may take you up on it just to kind of maybe a walk.
Anytime.
I'm basic. I'm using the Zoom record and and whatnot.
Okay, so for that, bro, I would recommend Streamlabs or OBS. Excuse me, OBS. OBS, it's free. You can do the recording. You can do all of it. It just rips it. You can download it to your folder, rip it on any Adobe program. But OBS, it's literally like with Zoom. The problem is I think that you kind of have to subscribe. If you're running a podcast, I think anything over 30 minutes you can't do. So you have to pay for it. But OBS is free. So I use OBS for my streaming software and recording. I just rip the video and stuff off of that. And then for audio, I use Voicemeeter. It's free. Okay. But yours sounds good anyway. I don't think you need it.
No, that's good to know. I've heard of OBS. I've heard good things, and I know that that's like, the legit way to do it. So I'm going to look.
Honestly, it's however you want to go from point A to point C. If you want to use Zoom, a lot of people use Zoom. It's user preference, honestly. But for me, the setup calls for it as far as if I want to stream to my Kick audience and stuff, I just use multi-stream, and that's what I do. But there are people that will do it differently. You just got to figure out what it is that you like, man.
Yeah, you want to produce, you can add those intros. Like, I get it. Yeah, it's all your.
Well, I do that with OBS. So, like, when you hit record, that's also when I hit go live, and I'll have the intro ready to go. I'll hit play. It's like we do everything live, so that way when we end recording, I don't have to edit anything. We do the intro, we do the outro, done. That's literally it.
That's where I'm gonna get there, man. You've inspired me, John.
You do it, bro. Do it. Absolutely. What's the podcast name?
Cannabinoid Connect. Do you need the
crap? Spell that.
Do you need the X? Do you need the X handle? Is that what you're looking for?
That too, because actually, so here's the thing. Spell it out for me.
So cannabinoid, CANNABINOID Connect.
Okay. That's your Twitter handle.
The username when you're ready.
Wait. Yeah. What's your Twitter username handle?
So the Twitter username is Canna, and then it's 2 underscores. And then Connect.
Gotcha. So CANNA __Connect.
Yep, that's it.
Okay.
And then I can give you my
spell the cannabinoid pod one more time, please. The cannabinoid, spell that word for me.
CANNABINOID.
I hate that word. I hate that word.
You know
it's
what?
like
it's
some
still
people
up for discussion. Is it cannabinoid or cannabinoid? What are you?
This is kind of like, is the dress blue or green? I don't know. I don't care because I never use I hate using the word the cannabinoid. It's like saying some people can't say synonym or a simile or things like that. That's that word for me. And ironic enough, this is what I do for, I shouldn't say living, but yeah.
No, it's true. It's funny. I kind of switch off. I kind of like, for some reason, I don't know why, I switch and I say cannabinoid, then I say cannabinoid. It's
cannabinoid. I just don't know why. I hate that. I hate that so much.
It's a great thing that I put that in my title, right?
Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate that.
I actually did it on purpose because I wanted to force behavior. I wanted like people to like learn, if they can't pronounce it, at least learn what it is. Cause like, that's kind of the essence of the plant and like what all those cannabinoids do and the value they add. So it was kind of like open up the rabbit hole. I guess that was the intent. I don't know if it worked or working, but
I think for people that are on the outside, yeah. But like for me, it's like, oh, cool. I get that. I get the meaning on that. Like it's someone who's, I think it gives the impression of a more nuanced, educated position. Like if you're using long words like that, it's like, then you clearly should know what you're talking about, because if you don't, it's like, bro, people will pick that up in like a heartbeat. They'll know if you're lying.
Right.
So,
right.
All right, let me. I don't know how to do a side by side with my. Actually, you know what I can do on this one? I will do my camera video. I'm such a freaking nerd right now, man. I'm like, I'm gonna use this camera over here.
Get us out in the X-verse. I haven't done a live podcast.
Brother.
This is the first time, so I'm excited.
Oh crap. Okay, so I've got this one right here. More reset to default.
I guess I should bring X up in case we get some questions or if people want to accuse us of stealing content.
Oh Jesus, dude! Oh my God, what was this like? I saw that. I'm like, what? I saw this picture floating around. Like, I'm not intentionally. Mark your shit. What is this, like day one on the internet? It's like, I don't. It's like, you bigger accounts. Like, I got 25,000, dude. That's not big, and I've been banned so many fucking times. Like, stop with this nonsense. Like, John Burke, such an elitist. It's like, yeah, here I am living up in Twitter fucking royalty at Mar-a-Lago. These fucking nerds. They just want to have this bourgeoisie attitude that they can hate people that are bigger than them. It's like, dude, we're on the same side. You're just being a jealous bitch right now. I will gladly tag you. I don't give a fuck. I go on podcasts all the time. I was like, I don't give a shit. We need community. We need community.
I had to bring it up, John. It was too funny. Oh,
I know.
Oh my God.
People are so pissed about everything.
I know, right? That's exactly what I was gonna say. Like, just to complain. It's like, what? Like,
bro, that's yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, if you
I do get that people
you'll get tagged. But if it just floats out there,
because how do I know that's the person that created it? There's literally no tag on it, and people know this. Like even the fucking social media Rembrandts know tag your shit. And if you're not tagging your shit, then it's free market, bitch. That's the way it is. So who's to say that person, that dude, didn't steal it from somebody else? So it's kind of like, yeah. I just feel like the fact that we even had to have that discussion is like, are we really upset about this? Like,
plus,
yeah,
it looks AI generated, so like
really, it is.
Someone just prompted AI to make it, so actually AI made it, So,
bro,
really, where does the ownership lie? We're gonna get into a further discussion with that legally.
Let's do it. Yeah. Oh my God, that's. I mean, it does pose some very interesting, like legally philosophical questions. Absolutely, it does. But it's like I just don't give a fuck right now.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. We are gonna stream. We're starting the stream now. And let me check on my restream page to make sure that we go. Yeah, look at you all straightening up and stuff. Gotta look all like handsome and stuff. Like there you go.
Be camera ready. We're going to the 10,000. You got 10,000 followers, I think, right?
23. Doesn't.
I'm
recognize. Dude, I am so throttled on my account. Like maybe 2,000 people might see what I post. Because I cross-post to Instagram too. So it's like, people think I have this massive reach when I don't. I'm in this, because I have a friend in Twitter and he's even told me, he's like, AI technology got you. You're throttled for like 90 days. So it's like, okay, because you can't say anything in regards to, and I'm not an anti-Semite. And of course, everyone that says that, usually it's followed by something anti-Semitic or like, I'm not racist, or I support the 2A, but no, on this one, it's like when we discuss, very controversial topics regarding the Middle East involving Jews and Muslims, if you use that word in the wrong context, it flags you automatically because Elon apparently had said a while back there will be no anti-Semitism on this platform, which was a massive lie. But that's gotten me flagged. So my reach has just been utterly destroyed, but I'll get it back. And then the world, Pinky, the world.
Well, you know what's funny is that what you're talking about, there's so many people in cannabis that can relate to that, right? Because of the censorship, I mean, within Instagram in particular, that you can tell you about, Meta overall. Like when I started this podcast, I tried to run an ad, like just basically like a static graphic that said like subscribe or like follow the channel. And my account immediately got flagged, and I've been banned from, like, they locked me out of running ads. I've never been able to run an ad or even look at the ad center from
how long ago was this?
Dude, this was 2021, 2020, maybe 2020.
Revisit it, set up another ad account, bro. They've changed their positioning. And the only reason I'm saying this is because we did similar things trying to run ads for Shell Shock. And, we're talking CBD, but they're going to flag you as marijuana. These are not educated people. They don't understand the differences between hemp and weed, but they are now allowing Delta 8 and Delta 9 ads on Meta. So I would highly suggest you revisit that because I'm sure they modified their policy. All you got to do is just create another ad account and resubmit it. And they may have changed their policy for you.
That's a good idea. Yeah, I mean, just need to refresh and check it out. It's been so long.
Dude, by the time this podcast over, you're going to have to pay me. You should be paying me. I'm like giving you all advice. I'm helping you.
That was actually my plan, man. I'm kind of luring you in and getting all the trade secrets, and then peace, John. No, I'm kidding.
That's how I got married. She got me.
I wanna start this by saying you had a mic drop moment that went somewhat, I'd say, viral within my TikTok page, and that was your testimony in the Senate hearing.
Oh, that was you. Oh,
Yeah.
bro, you're from TikTok. I'm sorry. I don't make the connections. I'm an idiot like that. I don't know.
No.
Oh, hell yeah. Thank you for that, man. Thank you. That's awesome, bro. No.
Absolutely.
And look at this. I'm not pissed off that you didn't tag me or share my content. Like, I hope it did go viral. I hope it inspires so many Texans to get off their asses. I hope it inspires so many people to get up and actually start giving a damn about this country, paying attention to the political sphere and what's going on, because I talked about it today. Like, I stream every morning on Kick and I rant like a lunatic. And I tell them, it's like, dude, we cannot sit here and get upset with these legislatures when it's voter ignorance that puts them into power. As if we've got to start educating voters. We've got to start getting involved. And God help me, I know this is the most toxic stuff that is on the internet. You got to learn how to navigate these waters and not want to blow your brains out. I get it.
That's
but
hard.
You've been given this gift of freedom. Oh my God, TikTok is like the Chinese combat. I'm surprised I got like 20,000. I'm surprised. I've been banned. I had like 150,000, but it's like, they are such astroturfed accounts that you get like, oh, I got like 13 followers and they're all from Malaysia. It's like, oh, that's weird. Must be like that Ian nerd with that retard.
No, it's so true.
Ian Miles Chung, that guy.
I totally agree with you. And it's a beautiful time now because people are actually interested. I think it's becoming interesting because, I think of the opening of free speech that Elon kind of created with X, right? That's kind of the go-to of like any type of content that would be censored anywhere else. So I appreciate that aspect of it. And I do think that people are being more aware. And it's videos like this, man. I mean, I do want to take a second, if you don't mind. Let's play it. It's like 2 minutes. I have it up. Are you cool with that?
Okay. Yeah. Is it like of me like in porn or something that you're gonna release on me? Like, oh, we caught John Burk in a hotel with prostitute.
I'm like,
no,
gotcha,
that never
bitch.
happened.
No, I'm kidding. Here we go, guys. This is John Burk's testimony.
Oh, testimony. Okay, yeah.
This is a good kickoff because I wanted to ask you. We'll kind of start things with like after we watch this. The whole fight against SB3, the journey, the road that you saw.
Yeah.
What could have happened? What could have been? But let's kick it off with this.
Owner in Dallas, Texas. In 2019, I started Shell Shock CBD with my partner because I saw how much CBD, Delta 8 and Delta 9 can help combat veterans such as myself. I served this country for 13 years, and 4 of those years I spent fighting in Iraq and Afghanistan, from Fallujah to the Korangal Valley in Afghanistan. What we provide is a means for these veterans like myself to find temporary relief that many of those opioid medications the VA puts us on do not. Those same opioids contain many negative side effects that THC does not. And THC is the safest drug out there as cited by rehab.com. And I'd also like to point out one thing real quick. These blue experts you brought in here from law enforcement, the state, did not list one category or one statistic of someone that actually died from THC overdose, because nobody ever has. That's a farce. We can sit here and argue all day long the benefits or the negativity, but folks, I've walked down your city and the city of Dallas, Texas, and I see vape shops and alcohol and gun stores every single place, but I don't see you calling to ban any of that. Why is that? We can have Congressman Perry here sit here and say, are you a doctor? Well, my question is reversed. Are you? Is he? What gives these people the right to tell free citizens what they can and cannot consume? Because last I checked, we all fought for that right. How dare you sit here and presume to lecture veterans as he has and say, are you a doctor? Or that we're intentionally selling to kids. My friend that sat here just 5 minutes ago said, we are following the law. We jumped through hoops. I paid $750,000 in taxes to the state of Texas, the federal government. I do everything by the book. But now I can't sit home and light one up because I might have some kind of euphoric effect. That's called getting baked. That's what we do. It's no different than alcohol. But for some reason, THC is this big bad boogeyman that we can't have. For what reason? Because it's certainly not safety. Because more people die from alcohol and gun and tobacco than THC ever will.
Man, I mean, lot
Give me
in there,
goosebumps.
but you just like the way that you packed it all in and the way you delivered it. It was perfect. It was fucking perfect. So I want to just throw that out there. and just let's start and dive into it. I mean, you
Man,
obviously,
when you get into like politics, bro, like everybody wants to have that Mr. Smith goes to Washington moment, that like you think I'm licked, don't you? When he's sitting there giving the filibuster, I think it was played by Jimmy, buddy, stop, my dog, sorry, Jimmy Stewart, like the old black and white. I think it's Mr. Smith goes to Washington, and he does the filibuster, and so you want that moment in politics. Like, what is my stance? I never in a million years thought it would be cannabis. I never thought I'd have mine with cannabis, but here we are. It wasn't guns. It wasn't freedom. It wasn't freedom of the press. It was weed. It was, and I'm sitting here like, you know what? I'll take it. It's fine. It's the truth, dude. Because the theory behind this, it applies to everything. It's not just cannabis. It's not just hemp. It's guns. It's alcohol. The very same institutions that want to destroy our business. That's what this is. This is a monopoly play. We all see this. It's clear as day. Right. But I sit here and I'm like, I'm on your side. But if you don't stop trying to interfere in our livelihoods, then yes, we're going to have some problems. We do have some problems. This is not constitutional. This is not right. So and again, that's why you say like it's put together so well. No, because the argument, the template applies to anything. It's there. Anything. Yeah. The government has no right. And people need to get back into that mindset of the COVID era. Why are we going to the government for our safety? Did you not learn? Have you not learned? How many times has milk been healthy for us and then been bad for us? How many times should we consume salt and now salt is the devil? Right. When are people going to say we have good? There you go. Right. Yeah. So here we are years later, and suddenly Captain Warp Speed is the next thing since sliced bread. It never happened, blah, 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 blah. But yet we still continue this behavioral pattern of running back to nanny state government when we think we're in danger, or when the government tells us we're in danger. And that's what Dan Patrick has done. That's the lies and the propaganda that he has spread 1950s deviled lettuce, just reefer madness propaganda. And people, bro.
It's crazy. You know what I can't believe when I see him up there in his press conference, exactly, because I totally agree with you. It is 1950s reefer madness speak, right?
Slinging THC product. You want to take this tonight?
Yeah, and it's like, and I'm thinking, like, this has all got to be coming from him, right? Because like, if his team or his staff is like coaching him on that type of playbook and language, I mean, the guy's got to reassess who's giving him this advice. I mean, it's better if it's coming from him, and that's what I think is happening here, because he's so passionate about it, and I've
got it on very good authority. Dan Patrick is not controlled. Dan Patrick has so much sway in the state of Texas. He controls the Senate. What Dan says goes, because he's locked in tight with Trump. He's got a lot of sway and a lot of influence. And that's why you see the behavior from Dan Patrick right now. This guy is not accustomed to not getting what he wants. He doesn't like losing. And you know what? That's the makings of a good politician. I'll give him that. Patton was the same way. Who wants to lose? Nobody. No one. But bro, like, you played the game and you lost. The people united. They put their voices out there and you lost.
And that's democracy. I mean, like,
that's democracy.
Even if he lost, he should see it as like, you know what somebody told me, and it was the most beautiful thing. I posted the video that, the bill had been vetoed, and then the next story was a video of all those bins of the veto, of all the signatures that people, how they were rolling those in, and someone responded to my.
I think that was the VFW, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And when someone responded to my story and said, no protests, no riots, no fires, like just straight up authentic, like people who care, who just voiced their opinion, signed a petition, and got the word out. And that's so beautiful.
That's interesting.
That's how it should be.
I never thought about that. Wow, we whites really have it together, don't we? No, I'm kidding. I should have said conservatives, but I like throwing people curveballs sometimes. No, but that's the truth, dude. We came together from every background, every race, every religion. Everybody came together. And they were just kind of like, it was the one thing that bound us. It was the one thing that bound us. And it was kind of like, this is community. And so all it took was like a little retweet here. People were showing up. Bro, it was incredible. And that's the way it needs to be. But as long as you've got voter ignorance, like, dude, I'm not even lying. I walked through the streets of Austin, like my second time up there. And I stopped in on a few businesses. Sheila and I went out to get some dinner. And we didn't have any gummies with us. It's like, we're always like ending the night. We'll have a glass of wine. We'll pop a gummy, have a nice little high, and then we'll go to bed. And it's just what we do. It's just how we run. And so anybody that hears that And instantly, Dan Patrick Pearl Clutch is like, oh my God. It's like, but I'll have like, a couple drinks and that's normal. It's like, no, it's not. It's really not. What you're doing to your body is actually 10 times worse for it than what I'm doing to mine, if we're going to go down that realm of judgment. But
Right.
the thing was, though, these hemp shop owners didn't even know about SB3. They didn't even know what was going. They're like, oh, what? It's like, yeah, this is kind of a big deal. So when people aren't plugged in, or we don't have enough advocates to get eyes on things,
Yeah.
Dan Patricks get their way.
Was it a lot of it also like the alcohol industry lobbying within Texas? Like I heard that, like the beer industry in particular. Is that true?
It was a mix. It was a little bit of everything. Now, I've seen people actually come out with new sources that there were big weed people that were being hired on, or they were being consulted. Essentially, I agree with partial how big marijuana right now, how they could be a little upset with the hemp industry. I get it. Because Delta 8 and Delta 9 are the same things that you get from hemp that you get from weed. But for some reason, we can't sell weed, but we can sell hemp. That doesn't make sense, right? So I get why big weed is upset with the state of Texas right now. I'm all for capitalism. Yeah, legalize it. But unfortunately, when you say something like that as a conservative or a conservatarian, whatever you want to call it, when you say something like that, people naturally think to an extreme. I don't want it in public. I don't want it in the cities. You can't smoke and drive. It's regulated like alcohol. And if people that are on the opposite side of the weed and all that, if you can't agree to that, then I'm sorry, you're not being pragmatic about this. I don't want cities smelling like weed. I don't want kids to have to smell this. But at the same token, we shouldn't have smoking in public either. Now, I know the after effects of secondhand smoke or getting hot. I get that. But does it matter what the effects are versus the health versus unhealthy? So I think it brings about a series of questioning that people don't want to go down. And when you go up against, if you go up against anybody, you go up against big tobacco, bro. Good luck. Good luck. Those dudes will crush you. They lobby so hard. These are the big wig players. So
that's why they've been around for so long, right?
Bro, exactly. They've got their hooks so deep in the government. Like, stop. And we have to recognize that. We have to be pragmatic about it. So that's why I tell people on the legalization side, you're going to have to come with regulation. Because the realism of it is, though, we're already following these regulations. Greg Abbott put out the list. He put out his call. And the call basically, it says that we're going to do a special session for 30 days. Well, actually, now they said it's the 21st through the 27th of July, which all Texans need to be up there. It's not the last battle, or it should be the last battle, hopefully. This is it. This is the coup de grace. It's the final. We have to be there because we scored a major victory. Dan Patrick, we see him right now. It's the death rattle. He's saying that we are going to pass the THC ban. Sarah Huckabee in Arkansas just passed it. But the difference is Greg Abbott vetoed it. Now, he's called a special session. I think it's Article 4, Section 8, covers that you can introduce new legislation, but it has to fall within the parameters or the call given by the governor. The governor gave the call. It's regulation, not ban. So I'm not sure what Dan Patrick's going to try here. It makes me wonder if he's got an ace up his sleeve that he's going to try and play, or if he's going to go just straight up unconstitutional, which in case if he does, he'll be met with a class action lawsuit, and he knows he'll lose.
So what would be those outcomes? Like, what would be an example of unconstitutional, and then the other option of like what's up, maybe something up his sleeve in terms of regulation?
I don't know, bro. I am not a constitutional lawyer. I cannot even sit here and speak to that because there are people that are much smarter than me that know the system far better than me. I'm still learning a lot of this stuff. I'm still learning into the meat and potatoes of the kind. Because again, I've paid attention to the federal, but now I have to start like learning about the state of Texas. I didn't know that we didn't have pocket veto. I was like, oh, okay, well that's interesting. So it's a shift. I got bored with all the Biden stuff, so now it's like I should start taking more of a care in Texas politics. So
yeah,
it's me learning the Texas Constitution. So I don't know. I've read as much of it I can on this article. I don't know what he's going to potentially try, but he's tweeting. Now, this could also be political influence that we're seeing to where Patrick knows that he's not going to get his way, and he's trying to politically influence his little cronies, aka our representatives that we voted in to represent us. He's trying to influence them into regulating this as hard as they can, making it as difficult as they can. That's what he's aiming for, I think, right here. But I've already seen 2 or 3 of the politicians that voted for this on Twitter getting absolutely crucified, and we've changed. We flipped a few of them. It's like, I'm not for the ban. It's like, fine. I want to see that in the bill. I want to see that come the day that you introduce. I want to see that there because people are getting mad. The state of Texas is mad. And ironically, the thing that brings us all together it's hemp. It ain't guns, it's hemp. Who would have thought? The same things our forefathers grew this, my man. They grew this. Is it such a dangerous? Dan Patrick gets up there and it's just, bro, he's acting like we're trying to legalize methamphetamines, which, by the way, are already legal. Doctors can give them to you, though, right?
Yeah, that's the vibe up there. It's crazy, man. Yeah. And
we're cartel, bro. Did you hear Dan Patrick? We're cartel now. And we're terrorists. We're terrorist money laundering operations. I just get all kinds of Bin Laden money coming through my Shell Shock e-commerce stores. Let me tell you.
I think I learned
if I start flying at a G6, you'll know.
I think I learned in like 4th grade that like if somebody blankets like everyone or you or all, like they're speaking in like, it's not true, like, because it can't be all, it can't be everyone. So the fact that he's even doing that is, again, like, it's really bad judgment. It's really bad communication. It doesn't make sense. Yeah.
His strategy has been confusing. Like, I'm not trying to get my hopes up here. I know elections can go really different ways. People can sit there and say they know how elections go, and in reality, things can go sideways sometimes. Yeah. So I am sincerely wondering, there are a lot of pissed off Texans, a lot of very angry Texans right now, and they are all calling for his political head. They're all saying we will never vote for this guy, like, ever again, no matter, like, he has burned, it feels like, a lot of political bridges. Now, I also think this is kind of like a God complex with Patrick. Patrick is, again, very used to getting his way. This man is not accustomed to losing. He's out there hobnobbing with the Matthew McConaughey's, the Dennis Quaid's, all these people from Hollywood. This guy thinks he's a big shot. He's got the attitude. When you listen to the way he talks to these reporters, he flung a package out of here, take that. I saw that. Easy, Patton. I'll come across this bench and I will whoop your ass. I was like, I don't know who you think you are, old man. I was like, but your political thing does not protect you. I was like, that is the most disrespectful thing as an elected official. You are not a tyrant, or excuse me, you are not a king. You are an elected official. And the way he sat there and just so casual, or just so carelessly, crassly just tossed it. What does this guy think he is? Yeah. And the thing that the most ironic thing is, and I'm sure you know this, the bag he tossed was like a bag of, like, what was it, cereal bites? He's like, go home and take this and see if you wake up in the morning. I was like, well, you'll still be permabanked for a little bit. It's going to feel great, but it'll wear off after like 24 hours. It's like, THC hasn't killed anybody, but the audience doesn't know that. And Dan Patrick is trying to take advantage of that. He's trying to take advantage of voter ignorance. My God. And this is the same people that went to freaking Woodstock, for crying out loud. This is the same acid trippers, Jimi Hendrix loving. Don't even sit there and pretend like half these dudes aren't smoking the ganja behind closed doors. Like, oh, but we can't have the evil hemp. Morons. Absolute morons. Or they're doing blow. Or half these politicians are doing blow. But they're the rich men.
It's something. I mean, it's definitely alcohol, and like you said, I mean, if you look at both and you compare them, there is even no question of what is more of the healthier option, right? I mean, our bodies inherently have an endocannabinoid system. I mean, we all know this, right? We have receptors. These cannabinoids bind to those receptors. Let me ask you this: on the federal side, right? There is this looming congressional hemp THC ban. So, I mean, what have you followed up on that? And I mean, I guess the implications, is it the same type of bill that the SB3 was presenting in terms of a total ban?
Yeah, it's a total federal ban. It's a total federal ban. But I've spoken to a few people that I know that are in the system, and they're saying this one doesn't have any teeth. This would get fought and struck down in the courts. What they're calling for is unconstitutional. But the other part was that they're not going to get the votes in the Senate. You've got Rand Pauls that are not going to go against full-on hemp bans. I don't think you've got Thomas Massey's, because for something like that, you have to have a full-on, everyone has to be on board with it. You need all the votes. And if you're not getting them all, then it dies. It's dead. And the other part of it is, let's just say it does pass the House and Senate. I don't think Trump's going to do it. I really don't think Trump would do it. Trump was a pro-marijuana guy.
He introduced the Farm Bill in 2018. I mean, it was his bill.
It was under his administration, absolutely, which was surprising to me. I was like, this is a massive step forward. But again, that one I've learned that in the process, it's a lot easier to kill. It's a lot easier to change. I think what's honestly going to happen, though, if this thing goes the right way, that the systems of government in their current existed state should give us the best outcome if they're doing it the right way. God help them. I know trusting the government's a stupid thing to do. But when you're caught with your hand in the jar, you got no choice. So I think what Abbott and the rest of them are aiming for is banning synthetic THC. And we're all for that. And I think in Texas, it's already banned. We're talking K2. We are talking a chemical compound that is man-made. They put this together. It is not safe. I dealt with this in the Army. We had to kick people out. They were smoking this stuff in the barracks. They were popping hot on piss tests. I forget what it popped on. I think it was THC. And some other stuff. I didn't even know what was in this stuff. I would never do that. That's one of those things of like, bro.
It was like insects.
Yeah. It was crazy. I think that was back in like 2010, 20. Yeah, it was about that time frame. It really exploded, especially in the clubbing scene. But so this is what I feel like Police Chief Alan Dye of the Allen Police, that guy. He's such a moron. Him and Dan Patrick. I don't think they understand the difference. And then again, I also don't think they care about the difference because Dan Patrick is getting paid. So that's what I'm saying is that you can have the good faith argument, but then the reality of it is that I think almost everybody can agree the synthetic man-made stuff that's literally killed people, yes, that should be banned. I agree with you. But they're confusing the two. They're conflating Delta 8 and Delta 9. And this is where I saw somebody asked on your question on your Twitter, is Delta 8 a synthetic? It's like, yes and no. It depends on how you look at this.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you remove that chemical from the plant, you have to remember the Delta 8 and Delta 9, and God help me if I don't get this correctly, and I know I'll get it roasted alive, and the Twitter say, actually, you dumbass. The Delta 8 and Delta 9 chemicals that you find in hemp are the exact same ones that you find in the marijuana plant, cannabis. Now, the ones that are prevalent in hemp are so minor in comparison. You can take bud out there, you dry it out, but you smoke it, you're getting that effect. You got to do way more hemp. So the process that has been utilized, that was federally legalized, and in the state of Texas, might I add, we had our farm bill too. So it was kind of like it made it through two hoop shots. This was not just a one-off, like you got lucky. It went through two systems of government and gave us this bill. That was with intention. That's with intention. You cannot tell me otherwise. So especially for hemp, like that's kind of a big deal. That's like a step towards the marijuana direction. So, when I saw this happen, I was kind of like, there's something here. But the process to extract the chemicals from the hemp plant is a synthetic, you have to synthesize it. And then we increase the gross weight of it. And that's as far as I'm going to go because there are way more complex, complicated ways to answer that I can't give you. But those are the basic Cliff Notes version. So is it man-made? No, it's not. Can it be? Yes, it can. Do we do it? No, we don't. Now, people that do it, yeah, they take that chemical, but they also mix it with other stuff. That's your synthetics. But these are such nuanced positionings that it's very difficult to have this type of a discussion, which actually there were some times in the House State Affairs Committee that there were experts that were brought in that literally went through the process of the synthesizing and explaining that to the chair people, which was great to see. We had some really good advocacy up there. Thank God I could just get up there and, do my spiel. But these people were literally, and, they would stay. They would get their 2 minutes. And then I think one lady, God bless her, I forget her name. She was up there for like 30 minutes just firing back at these questions. And because these committee members were genuinely interested, which I found was good to see.
Good, yeah.
The Senate, they didn't give a shit. They didn't care. They're all Danny boys. That's who they are. You could have been up there. There was a woman that broke down crying saying, if you ban this, my child needs this to survive. Literally broke down crying saying, my kid, and everybody was like, hey, if they ban it, I will ship to your house. I don't give a shit. I will, don't worry. And it's fine. It's federally legal. And Abbott knows this. Dan Patrick knows this. This is the unspoken thing because, all these other brick and mortars, I'm e-commerce. I ship all over. I can ship anywhere.
That's what's insane, right? Is like,
and they knew this. They know this.
That's what's crazy, and that people need to understand that. Like, if this ban would have taken place, what you're saying is that all Texas operators would be unable to produce and sell hemp, but other operators outside of the state of Texas would be able to because of the federal 2018 Farm Bill that was passed, right?
How do you police the federal system at the state level? And the thing was, they knew this. Representative King brought this up during committee, during testimony, and they flat out asked us, like, because they don't even, here's the sad part, they don't even know the Constitution. They're sitting here asking you questions like, you're an elected representative, half of you are lawyers, how do you not know this? You got ChatGPT for
I was
crying
gonna
out
say
loud.
AI. Where's AI?
Oh, I know, right? So thank God for that, because it's educating an entire nation of morons. But it's good. You know, people are getting better at it. So it's knowing your rights. It's legitimately knowing and understanding your rights. And dude, I don't care if you get it from AI, but if you're doing it from AI, cite your sources. It needs to be from a viable source. Do not trust AI blindly. All AI is good for is steering me in the right direction to where I can go directly to the source. But some people, I feel, don't make that full connection, and it's no different than citing a little bit more accurate Wikipedia, which I wouldn't advise doing either. So, but yeah, that's where we're at, dude. So the House testimony, they were actually asking questions, and that one lady, she was there for 30 minutes, and she was giving it a very in-depth description, yet broke it down to where it was understandable to your common dude on the street that's never had any hemp experience whatsoever. So it took a minute. It did take a minute, but they were very receptive. So that was good to see. That was good to see, because along came one dude, I forget what his name is, what politician he is. He just totally revamped the bill and turned it into a full-on ban, because it was going to be a more regulatory focused bill, as it should have been. But then, you know, Dan Patrick didn't want that. He was like, I need a full-on ban. Boom, amendments struck, votes in, blah, blah. Because I think the Senate State Affairs Committee, I think it was like 11-1? So I forget what the vote count was. It was overwhelmingly for. It's like, dude, we don't stand a chance. It's like, we don't stand a chance. And then in the House, it's like, okay, hopefully we're going to make our stand in the House. And we did. You know, and everybody showed up. Everybody did their part. You know, everybody was fighting this. There was great people out there doing amazing things. And then what really did it for everybody was just the outpour of massive support for the movement. People tagging Governor Abbott, calling just legitimate grassroots community movement across the entire state. We had people from outside the state of Texas getting involved, saying, no, this is not a good thing. And so, ban SB3 was trending so much, or veto SB3 hashtag. So it was good to see. And then along comes Abbott, and he was I didn't think he was going to do it, dude. I honestly didn't think he was going to do it, but he made his statement before. Yeah, there were a lot. I don't blame him.
Here's the thing. I didn't think he was.
I don't blame him for thinking that.
I think that he understood the ramification of not, because of what you just said. Like all the pressure, all the support, everybody coming out, doing their part. Like online, I mean, if you looked at the hashtag TX Ledge, SB3 flooded it. I mean, it was all SB3. You know, so it was top of mind. It was awesome.
It was beautiful to see. Beautiful to see. Everybody just chipped in. Man, it was. I think it was that ultimately that influenced Patrick. We had the numbers on our side. This was not even just an emotional based argument. This was a logic. It was an economic. It's like, dude, you can't sit there and cut 50,000 jobs in this economy and expect not to feel some kind of blowback in the voter polls. And also the thing they have to consider that Dan Patrick, it just shows that how big Dan Patrick thinks he is. He thinks he's going to pull a stunt like this and we're not going to get martyred in the midterms. I was like, are you kidding me with this? Like, we're going to get stomped. We would get stomped. Because there'd be people like me. It's like, I will never vote for Republicans again. You've lost my vote. I'm not voting Democrat, but if this is the representation I have, what good are you? You're against me. So why would I ever vote for you? It's the lesser of two evils. You're both evil. At least I know the Democrats are off the rails insane. I was like, but these snakes in the grass that have been elected to the Republican legislature, wow. Yeah. And like I said, I just now got started looking further into Texas politics. So we're bringing the savagery there. And this is something that I feel like we can definitely help influence more change, get people educated on specific issues, rally friends on Twitter, rally our customer base. This is also one thing that we have a massive customer base. We're very blessed. I'm a very blessed man. So we have it's a
Republican and Democrat customer base, like you said. I mean, people want the plant,
Yeah.
Doesn't matter.
We've got to get out. Yeah. Well, here's the other thing that I grew up Pentecostal. And I understand the implications of smoking the ganja. I get it. Smoking in your body is not healthy. But far be it from me, and I'm not speaking ill will of anything, but even Jesus drank wine. Paul said a glass of wine for the stomach's sake. I'm not saying that I advocate for the man-made stuff, but I'm sorry. We use natural things from the ground for, penicillin, how we grow, how the mold process. These are just natural things. If we have it for a reason, why are we not utilizing this? How can we sit there and make the argument of alcohol that is fermentation of yeast and other things, so it's not in a natural state of existence? It has to be devolved out or come from something. Weed, you don't. It's literally there. So I don't understand the argument here. Even from the churchgoers, like, look, I'm not advocating for being a stoner, but how is this any different than, say, for example, I want to take a Tylenol if I've got a headache? I'm not saying consume this and go drive. Or sugar. Sugar's a drug. So these are not the things that I'm advocating for. And that's where it falls into the realm of, unfortunately, stereotypical representation. I think and this is the other thing that I kind of got a little upset about, is that when you have these people show up at the state affairs committees and you're going to testify, wear something decent. Don't come in there and represent yourself looking like some dude off the street. Dress up, be a little respectful. Get a shave, get a haircut. I don't care. Look respectable, because you are representing an entire community, whether you realize it or not. Now, it does show that we do come from very diverse backgrounds, and that's a good thing. But when you're going up there, if you want to be taken seriously, then you need to dress the part. And that's just one of those things that you learn it in the military. You learn it when you go for a job interview. These are our elected representatives. So it's also kind of one of those things of respecting the office to a degree, even though I think the people occupying the offices are just absolute retards. So
and it's even, everyday society, right? Like, you have a date, you want to put your best foot forward, or you meet a friend. Or,
We've lost that in our society. So isn't that interesting? The pothead is like, no, I believe in looking good, looking professional, looking like a man should. God forbid,
Hey, I want to ask you this, okay? Because there is online chatter. I want to dive into the regulatory framework within Texas. I'm not sure how familiar are you with it, but in past conversations that I've had on my podcast, it's like the industry has been begging for more regulation, right? Because of the bad actors that they talk about and all the the products that are bad. So is there still that need from these operators, or has it been met? Has Texas really stepped up in terms of regulatory checking, COAs?
No, it hasn't. It hasn't. And this is such a very nuanced position. Even with it not having been regulated, there have been no deaths. Let's just first clear the air on that one, because Dan Patrick doesn't want you to know that. Now, the deaths that have occurred, again, as we discussed previously, have been from man-made stuff. So in the regulatory world, say I wanted to increase my THC content, it's literally no difference than having either one shot of Jack Daniels or two. The difference is I can measure mine through milligrams. You can't with alcohol. It's like, it's about a shot or shot and a half, whatever. You can do that. So the presentation of having no regulation has been very inaccurate. And they've done that with intention. They raided here in Plano some warehouse distributors. They had vapes, all kinds of stuff. But they were also selling actual illegal stuff. But they didn't publish that. It's all the same. It's like, it's not all the same.
Yeah.
So we get lumped in with that. And Chief Dye out of the Allen Police Chief, him and Dan Patrick, they've been sued. They're sued. I think the suit was filed in 2024 for this exact style raid. So they said, I read the part of the case, it was that the warrant was way too broad, very vague, could not be applicable, unconstitutional, and the 14th Amendment, I forget the other one. I haven't checked the status on that one, though. So they've been down this road. This is nothing new to them. So they are clearly flagrantly disregarding the currently existing Constitution and the fact that we don't have regulation. Now, here's the kicker, dude. Here's the other nuanced position. We already follow regulation. We are not required. But if they wanted to sue me for this, they couldn't. I'm not required to put a certificate of analysis on our website. Not that maybe it changed, because I've been doing this for 5 years, man. Unless that changed, I didn't get notified of it. But I've always been of the mindset that if I'm of a Milton Friedman economist mindset. If I'm going into a store, and what I mean by that is consumer driven. Therefore, I'm going to do things that favor consumerism, that make me money. And what I mean by that is if I walk into a store and I've got refrigerator A with packages of meat, none of it's labeled. On the window, it says, it was killed how many days ago? Or, there's nothing. It's just plain meat. On the refrigerator B, there's an ingredient list. You know, where the cow's at, what it was slaughtered, what the fat content is, what's in the ingredients. Because if I put the wrong ingredients in there, I am under consumer protection. I can get sued. There's tort law involved. It would destroy my business. But if I purchase something that had no ingredient list, what does that mean? So which one are you, the consumer, more likely to choose? You're going to choose refrigerator B, unless you're just really stupid. You want to know where your stuff comes from, but you also have to believe in the fact that there has to be government regulations that prevent businesses from lying about that. Because otherwise, what's to say I could say, yeah, there's no fentanyl in that. You could do that, but tort law prevents that, or consumer protection laws prevent that. By the way, that law, that system, the committee didn't even know. Because what's to stop? That's Consumer Protection Act. You're lawyers, how do you not know this? So
you're saying that because that's in place, like that's how you operate is what you're saying. Like you have to, because
no, I don't have to. I do it because I want my customers to have confidence that they know where their products are coming from and they know what's in them. Because I don't have to list a certificate of analysis, meaning I have it third-party tested to verify for all kinds of potential toxicities. But it's literally, you take the chemical out of the plant, you got a gummy, you dump it in there. There is no way anything toxic could be involved in that process. It's impossible. It'd be like trying to mash up peanuts and get jelly. It's impossible. So, but the consumers don't know this. So with that being said, let's give them the warm and fuzzy, third-party test it just for proof that there is nothing in here. And that's why we have a very, very loyal customer base, because we say, hey, sometimes they'll get it wrong. And a gummy will come in at like 19 milligrams instead of the 25 that's on the labeling. And we will discount that back and say, hey guys, we're knocking this down, whatever price, because this is what it actually is. And the consumers love that, because when you're transparent, open, and honest about stuff, they know your role in this. They're not stupid. They know your role in this, and that's why you have loyal customers out there. You're you're the middleman. It's like, I'm investing the money, I'm formulating some stuff. I'm listening to you. What do you want from me? And I'll facilitate. And by the way, this is the brand, and that's what they're buying into. That's the American dream. But the pipeline I just described still works even without regulation, and that's the point that I'm trying to say. So when they say that we now want to add regulation, go for it, because I'm already doing it. My packages are already marked. I submit COAs on every single product and every single website. We retest on every new batch we get. They know this. That's why we've done so well, because they trust us. So that's what I'm trying to say. It's like, fine, bring the regulation. Just don't over-regulate.
Right. In that example that you gave of like, there is no possible way that there could be any intervention of like chemicals in that process. Why then there's so many, like not so many, but from particular people online talking about these moldy pesticide infested hemp. And I get like, if you buy at a gas station, like I totally understand that you probably shouldn't do that because it's probably not the best quality, but
it's no different than supplementation.
The assertion there though is that there's like bad chemicals in it. Like, if you
get it from a 7-Eleven, you should know better.
Yeah.
No. So no, they talk about, well, number one, you have to question whether or not they know what it is they're actually talking about. They could be referring to flour, like the actual flour that you smoke, which we do sell that.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. I'm talking about hemp flour. Yeah.
Yeah. It's there. Of course, there is a possibility that if you get your place from, example, like a company that doesn't do third-party testing, is it possible it could be laced with something else? Absolutely. Hence why you go to a company that has a third party. So you know, because dude, here's the thing. I used to microdose on shrooms. Shrooms, the psilocybin, small amounts when you feel yourself getting really upset, a small amount, and you feel your body regulate itself. Again, natural growing, not man-made, natural growing. And we've actually started studies in the state of Texas, Abbott, and I think even at the federal level, we've started looking into different forms of treatment, not with the intent of creating drug users, but understanding the chemical and how it can be applied in low dose volume to help, in a sense, regulate somebody. And that's always instantly met with, so you need something to escape from reality? Because, and I look at these people, it's like, my reality was seeing my brother's heads getting blown the fuck off. My reality was seeing something completely different than your reality. So for anyone to pass judgment on what, you need an escape. Yes, sometimes I do. Sometimes I need to get out of my, especially like Memorial Day weekend. I got to stay baked. I will break down. I don't like thinking about it. So again, it's kind of like when people say like you need an escape, well then explain the bottle. Why do you want to have a drink? Why are we on trial for how we choose to deal with our demons, or how we choose to deal with when life comes and kicks us in the nuts? How we choose to deal with the Biden economy coupled with the Trump one? That's on us. That's on the individual. You think this, of course people need escapism. That's why they listen to podcasts, why they play video games.
Yep.
We just,
or go on walks.
Or go on walks. I exercise. Yeah.
I mean, and even like like the 32-ounce Starbucks sugar drink that they get in the morning. Like,
God.
you know what I'm saying? Like,
we got Maha over here. Yeah,
all those things are escapes or different ways of making you feel a certain way, right? Caffeine makes you feel a certain way. Sugar makes you feel a certain way.
Well, caffeine withdrawals, dude. It's a drug. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm with you, man. I'm totally with you.
I love the hypocrisy of that, by the way. Like, I am not one to fabricate or misrepresent, not intentionally at least, but I find it so. I love Starbucks, and people can sit there and say, like, "Oh, Starbucks is toast." Like, bro, 60 million Elvis fans can't be wrong. Starbucks has done something right with coffee. They're a bunch of douchebags. I don't like walking in to see a barista with some like 30 rings through her fucking nose and wearing some rainbow about what she does with her butt. I don't care. It's none of my business. Give me my fucking coffee. I love the pumpkin spice latte. They hit a fucking home run, and trust me, I'm not happy about admitting dude. I don't like
pumpkin spice latte. Dude.
I'm a basic bro. I don't give a fuck. I fought in Iraq and Afghanistan. I've got a set of cojones. I know my masculinity is perfect. That's some good fucking coffee. So that being said, you say that, and the Maha is sitting here preaching extreme health, which I found to be also very ironic because it's RFK Jr., who's got so much testosterone running. This guy is on so much fucking gear.
But isn't TRT good for you?
It's not when abused. Look at him. Look at his age, bro. Now here's the thing. I don't care. Good for bro. Stay ripped. I'm Z's over here. Like, absolutely. Do your thing, man. Do your thing. And that's interesting though, right? Live your life how you want to live it. If you want to pursue bodybuilding and use steroids, dude, I knock yourself out.
Right.
And that's what people also don't understand about steroids in general. There are, like, I forget what the actual, it's 73% of men. It's something to do with prostate cancer. The percentile of people that get it, 75% of patients that die from prostate cancer is a result of low testosterone, prolonged low test. You can look this up. I did not know this is a thing. So I'm on TRT as well. I take steroids. I'll absolutely tell people. It's testosterone. It's man-made. I'll
hear
put it this way.
Recommended like after 40. Like I hear that people are saying like you should be on TRT, and especially if your levels are low. Like I think the low is like a lower end is like 500, and the higher end's like I don't know.
Bro, everybody's different. Some men will have just extremely high testosterone. Those are the ones that you see. They're just kind of very naturally muscular, things like that. But we all age differently. Sometimes people will have high testosterone well into their 50s. But with combat veterans, though, it's very common because of, I don't know, there was something to do with, I didn't read too far into it. It was something to do with like adrenaline just spiking, just, I don't know what it was. It's just all contributing factors from living a very, very stressful, prolonged period of time. So before I got on testosterone, I was lethargic. It was a little depression, and then you get on it in a moderate, or I think it's like I take half a cc a week, or a half a cc every like 3 or 4 days. And what it does is it takes your testosterone, your free floating testosterone for like a 25 to 30. If I get this wrong, I'm sorry, chemists, but your free float should be anywhere from like 550 to like 750. When I got tested, mine was 175. And the doctor was like, you need to go on this. Like it will balance out the active homeostasis within your body. And I was like, okay, fair enough. So, because I've taken supplements and I understand, your protein, your carbs, your fats, all these things. So it's like, no, that makes perfect sense. It's no different than adding tranny fluid when you're low. Ironically, I called it that, and I don't mean in the sense of being a trans, but you get where I'm going with that. So I went on it, and bro, it balances everything out. It's actually helped so many dudes with depression, and they don't even realize it. Like when I tell my friends, if you feel depressed, and I'm not Alex Jones, and it's because the frogs are gray, go get a blood test. Go get your blood test and look at your testosterone level. And I'm not going to sit here and say like that's the cure all, but start there and just see. And if you've got low testosterone, bro, get on it, and it will balance everything out. It's fixed relationships. It's helped because you are technically chemically imbalanced. Yeah. I hate saying it like that, but it's true.
No, it's true. As I'm getting close to 40, that's definitely something that I'm going to focus on. Hey, I want to ask you this as we wrap up here. You mentioned, microdosing psilocybin. I've talked about that quite a bit on my podcast with various guests. And one guest in particular here in Texas had a really interesting point in terms of how we should regulate cannabis if, in fact, it went legal. either in the state of Texas or federally. And
Right.
what she proposed was Livy McKay, shout out to Livy. She talked about going the nutraceutical route. So like instead of like how people are saying, we regulate alcohol and tobacco, she's like her view is like I don't know if politically there's an appetite for that, and that's why maybe a lot of like federal legislators do not push for cannabis reform because it's such a vice and it's such a the stereotype around it.
Yeah,
So if you
absolutely.
positioned it as a nutraceutical, meaning more plant-based alternative, treated as such, it could open up this like huge pathway to psilocybin and other plant-based alternatives that are. I mean,
Right.
psilocybin is already fast-tracked on the medical side over cannabis.
Yeah.
But you get what I'm going at with this.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on that?
That's actually I don't know. That's a lot to chew on, man.
Yeah.
So here's the one thing I do know is that, again, that's a very nuanced position to take. That's you got to give that some thought. Your common voter isn't going to do that. So that type of process that person recommended, it does sound good in theory, but I think people are going to bastardize it. They're going to say like, oh, the translation won't go over, and I think ultimately that's going to be another one that's going to be influenced by the big donors, the big lobbyists, stuff like that. That's going to be literally the fight we just had is the fight you're going to have. I will gladly fight that fight alongside of him, though, 100%. That is something that I don't know what the appetite from the public is in terms of how they view shrooms versus weed or THC. I think when you say shrooms, the common person thinks you're talking probably acid, trips, stuff like that, versus understanding what microdosing does to your serotonin levels and things. So that's such a very difficult conversation to have in the span of like 10 seconds when someone sees an ad and then makes up their minds like, I hate mushrooms, or I don't want my kids getting the shrooms and dying. So, but yeah, I think it's a smart, absolutely. If you basically said like, hey, this contains in this gummy or this whatever, in a sense of like, I don't know my dosings. I know like to really start tripping on shrooms, you got to be upwards of like 2 grams, 3 grams. Everybody's different. I always did half a gram, and that is an extreme microdose. That's not much when it comes to shrooms, and that's also eating, and those things taste nasty. So I also learned grind them up and soak them in lemon juice, and it makes it even more, it absorbs at a higher rate. Something about the citric acid or something to that effect.
Yeah, it cuts the chitin out. So when you eat it regularly and you feel like you want to throw up and regurgitate.
Yeah, I hate that. Yeah.
The point that you're making, the lemon, it cuts that out, and it's more of like it settles in your stomach.
Okay.
More.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, because doesn't it also aid in digestion? Something to that effect. Okay. Yeah. No, I would definitely I would stand right beside that person, say this is something that how they introduce it. It's just that you're going to have to get a lot of public education on it.
Sure.
But I'll put it this way. It's not like you would, if somebody never knew what Tylenol was, they open up a bottle and they just say, I'm going to take 20, you'll cause some serious liver damage. But I think like if somebody, I guess the point I'm trying to make is how does the average person view shrooms? Do you understand the dynamic of the benefits of microdosing, or do you think that if you take one, you are going to trip balls and run in front of a train? I think it's like something.
My view is that at least how I see it is that it seems like psilocybin is becoming more readily accepted in the medical space. Over
that's
cannabis.
True. Yeah.
And cannabis just like you said in your testimony, like the boogeyman, like the THC, like there really is a thing that's out there, and it's crazy to see mushrooms get more notoriety and credibility when it comes to treating PTSD for veterans or people that just need it who are depressed, right? And I'm just seeing that in articles, like even the mainstream media is more cordial to psilocybin than they are cannabis, in my view. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I don't know, man. I mean, how you know better than I am. You're clearly educated on shrooms more so than I am. Do you see the media not? I don't see the media focusing on shrooms that much. Weed, yeah, maybe it's just because it's what's been all over the news because of this. But I never really thought the media paid much attention to shrooms.
You're right. I don't mean in the sense of volume of articles. I just mean, I guess, more of the validity and credibility of under the lens of medical,
right?
Like because there's so many fast-tracked reports and peer-reviewed studies that are happening around psilocybin, like those get picked up in mainstream media, and it just kind of like they speak positively of it. Whereas you see an article headline for cannabis, and it's like it's either a good report or a bad report. It's always like 50,
I think honestly, it's who you compare it with. You've got to have a backdrop for that. Meaning, it's like here's psilocybin, but here's who it's really helping. It's moms, or it's for us always it's usually the veterans because we're the most fucked up. It's like it's actually helping veterans with so and so and so and so. So when you can kind of deliver it in that capacity, people are more attuned to saying, "Oh, okay, that's interesting. Well, if it's good enough for our veterans, clearly." So I think that's a smart way of going about it. But yeah, the medical stuff, man. Truth be told. I didn't pay attention to psilocybin. I haven't. It's not something I really do because, again, where can I get it regulated? There's fentanyl everywhere. I don't know where this is coming from, so I don't shroom anymore. I say shroom. It's microdosing to make yourself feel good, to make yourself happy. I'm not over here like again seeing Jimi Hendrix with like sheets of acid wrapped around his thing.
You're taking me to the early 2000s. We're gonna shroom, man. Shroom.
Bro, I'm sorry, I can't. I thought about it because I've heard that, they say that shrooming is also one of the ego killers, that when you experience a trip like that, it kills the
ego death.
And it's the second death. And then when you pitch it that way, it sounds like, what? Is that like some voodoo system? No, it's suddenly like you just are honest with yourself. You're honest with people. You kind of come to the understanding of like, you don't have to be offended by this, or why are you getting angry about this? It's not something to be angry about. So it's like you create an inner monologue that helps better regulate your emotional responses or reactions. And when have you ever heard it like explained in that capacity by somebody that does it, that doesn't come across like it's just a massive shroom head? So that's the other part that, like I said, it all revolves around the buy-in. Can someone explain it in a capacity that it just resonates with the people, or does it come off sounding, and we keep coming back to that. It's just that I would love to see that happen. I would love to see, and I think hemp is the gateway. And I'm not talking gateway to hard drugs. I'm not sitting here saying I think crack should be legal, even though you can get it in Houston and Dallas. It's freaking everywhere. You can make methamphetamines on your own. But I like to see drugs, what they call them, scheduled drugs. I just think these are natural things that we have got to change the context of how we think about them. We've got to start standing behind this stuff, because you're right, dude. With veterans, psilocybin, things like that, it does do wonders. Crenshaw, one of those guys that I just don't like his politics, Crenshaw is pushing at the federal level ibogaine. I don't know anything about ibogaine, but I've heard wonders in terms of PTSD research. It does make me a little nervous. Addiction, kratom, stuff like that. Kratom, we used to sell kratom, but kratom is also addictive, so it's kind of like I didn't want to dabble in that too much. But I'm interesting to see.
I meant ibogaine helps with addiction. So like if you're addicted to smoking or drinking, it kind of rewires your brain to like. I've heard a lot of different good things as well, and I think you're right.
Same with kratom, but I heard that kratom in and of itself though can also help formulate an addiction for kratom. So it's kind of like, but I haven't heard that with ibogaine. I've heard nothing but good things about ibogaine.
Same. Yeah. Well, I'm with you, man. I'm all for the natural movement. People are becoming more educated every day, thanks to guys like you who are out there talking about it and testifying. And keep it up, man. I really appreciate you accepting to come on. And I know we hadn't met before,
of course.
It's really great to meet you now. And yeah.
Well, thanks for sharing the video on TikTok. That was awesome to see. And the cool thing was, a little inside story, I used to have a massive following. I got banned during COVID because I provided medical misinformation, which was just I don't know
like
what's in the vaccine.
Was banned?
Like, yeah. So people in the comments, I was reading the comments. I'm like, I wonder how with this kind of. I had a feel like this video is going to do very well with liberals. They're going to love this, and then they're going to find out it's coming from a conservative and be like, "What the fuck?" I thought like this is gonna be the greatest gotcha moment ever. But instead, like people on both sides of the aisle was like, yes, this. And then they were having really interesting discussions. And then it leads to these things like it's horseshoe theory, bro. We actually have a lot more in common than we realize. We just focus more on the abortion, the guns. But like of the 3% we don't get, the other remaining 97, we get along on these things. We just don't realize it because the media is not going to drive that kind of narrative, because what good does having a united country when there's no problems? You don't need politicians. So, yeah.
I 100% agree, man. And that's why we need to have these conversations face to face, talk with people, understand their points, get to know where they're coming from. That's what it's all about. John, you're the man. I appreciate it. Let's
Absolutely,
do it again soon, man. I'll be in touch.
Let me know. Glad to be on, man. Thanks so much for having me.
Cool. All right. Thanks for listening.
Later, brother.
Bye.
Cannabinoid Connect, the nation's most diverse cannabis-related podcast.